Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening and a warm welcome. I don't know if that played out. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. We won the fucking FA Cup! Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to what will be a completely different show this evening. We're not going to do most of the stuff that we normally do on the show. We're just celebrating in the glory of Crystal Palace FA Cup winners 2025. Now, you're going to see in a couple of moments from now, we are going to be joined by
finals lost, semi-final heartbreak.
People that weren't scheduled to be on the show tonight. Of course, I want them on the show to be part of it. So some of them will be jumping on and jumping off, and some of them will be staying with us the whole evening. I don't care what they do. It's come and go as you please. Nigel, was anybody else going to join me? Or am I going to sit in like a lemon for the next hour on my own? It's entirely up to you.
Moments, playoff wins, promotions, great escapes, you've had all those, but this is the moment. This is the day for Crystal Palace Football Club. It's Crystal Palace's day. And all those Eagle fans who filled up half of Wembley, and they're making so much noise right now, they can all say they were there. They could tell the grandchildren. There are parents and kids together right now. They'll have that shared moment forever. And this is what football is about. You have a lifelong love for your club. And sometimes it's through thin and thinner. And for Crystal Palace fans, there's been nothing, no major trophy. But it's all been about working towards this moment, and nobody will.
Couldn't hear a word you said, Nick.
I'm still here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Oh, right.
There's nothing like a good introduction, and that was nothing like a good.
I've got two responses to you. We won the FA Cup. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Welcome, everybody. Welcome wherever you're listening, watching in the world. You are joining the only Crystal Palace podcast that gets transmitted live after every game the following day. So thank you for joining us. We're going to do something a lot different this evening. We've got lots of people jumping on and jumping off. If any of the people on screen that you can see now, they can jump off and come back on later on if they wish to. Welcome to you all, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to you, your motley crew, sitting in front of me now. Nigel, well done, mate. What time did you get back last night?
1:30.
Fair play. You drove down from Sunderland. Ian Costa drove you down, and you drove back straight after the game last night. So you're still producing the show. You're to be applauded, mate. Thank you for your effort. Nobly, what time did you get in last night?
Not far behind him, actually. 12:30, actually, back into Sussex, which wasn't too bad. I was on the last train with Fergus out of London Bridge. So, yeah, it was amazing. What a night. Unbelievable.
Good stuff. Paul Gear, were you with him?
No, I wasn't after the game. No, we were there. It was meant a bit before the game and during the game, but no, I was in the car last night. So I got back because I wanted to rewatch it all again. So it was I was home about 10:30. Watched it all again. We got to bed about 2:30. I think it's just too good, too good. I can finally use this that I bought in 2016. I can finally put it out without feeling like
it's funny. Hold it up again. Hold it up again, Paul. My wife's always said size doesn't matter.
Lucky for you, eh?
You're right, mate. Joe, what did you watch, mate? You at home?
Yeah, home. Yeah. On my lonesome, because my wife and my son went with one of my best mates, Danny. So yeah, they had the tickets that I was able to snag. But yeah, they had a great time. I picked Lisa up from the station about 9:00. She was pretty pissed. Connor went back on the lash after the game. I don't know where he went, London somewhere. And Danny sounded the worst of wear when I spoke to him at London Bridge. Not very coherent. So yeah, a good day was had by all.
Right, okay. John Salako, I know you're watching, mate. I know you're out there. I've just sent you the link. If you're out there now and your head's okay, you didn't bump it on the escalator or anything like that last night, jump on and say hello. Tim Richards, nice to see you on Thursday, mate. Lady, for those of you who don't know, our fab Tim Richards is a future TV star in the making. Do you want to allude on that a little bit, mate?
No, that's all right.
We'll hold it for now. Did you enjoy your day?
Yeah, well, who wouldn't? I can now say that I have been to see 2 Palace finals and they've won them both. 100% record.
Right, okay. Obviously the ZDS. And ladies, now we've got rid of the ugly ones. Ladies, welcome. Lovely to see you. Did you both have a good day?
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes. Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Teresa, show me your glass. Hey, nothing changes. I wouldn't expect anything else. Yeah, well
No,
done,
not
guys.
just me.
Right, Teresa, I'm glad you jumped on early, okay, because I need to talk to you about something. Folks, we're going to get onto we're going to get onto the game yesterday, but I'm sure all of you did yesterday. I had people coming up to me left, right, and centre talking about the podcast, okay, and this show is all about you lot, you guys sitting in front of me. So well done. People are loving on what we do, all of us, okay? It's nothing to do with me, it's you lot as well. Special mention to Tom Bartholomew. I saw you yesterday. Great to see you, mate. Lovely to meet you for the first time. Ian, did you say you had some coming up to you as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Some chats with people going out. Forgive me, almost too many to mention by name, but it was great. It's great to see Dawn in the ground. Dawn Palace, she calls herself on here. So Dawn, if you're watching tonight, lovely to meet you yesterday. Fantastic.
I've known little Dawn for ages. She's a lovely girl. Okay, Joe, could you just keep your eye on the chat for me, mate, please, and let me know if there's anybody out there. Is anybody actually watching this shit?
There's a ton of people out here.
Then, please.
I mean, look at your phone for me, Nick.
Okay.
Chloe Francesca, Tom Samuel, William Jones, John Kerr, Joan Wells, Phillips von David, Rob Cranfield, Graham Kitcher, Daniel Garlick, Mark Callaghan, Callahan, Phil Bell. I've recognised Phil's name for there before. Lee Lockwood, Andrew Adams, Paul Grant, James Convey, Monty 1964, Winston's out there, Connie Squires, our own Lucy, she's watching, Pete Bradley, Don Palace, Damon Aldous, Charlie Byrne, so yeah, John Knox, Pauline.
Of course, they're all out there.
Everyone in there.
Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be?
Exactly. So yeah, everyone's the same sentiments. Absolutely overjoyed. What a day.
What a day indeed. And the last but not least, of course, a welcome to Sir Lord James Cannon. Jimbo, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, did you enjoy your day?
Yeah, probably the longest 100 minutes I've ever sat through. The 10 minutes seemed like an eternity, but I mean, you can't explain a day like that, can you? It's something that people over the last 70, 80 years have been hoping for and got close a couple of times. So, I mean, the feeling when that last whistle went, I felt as if I was on the park. It was just unbelievable. And
the people, you said you were at somebody's house playing snooker and watching the game and everything else. Were some of them Palace fans?
There were a lot of Palace fans there, but there was a couple of Chelsea fans there. So it was, I was pleased to say that we've won something. I mean, for years what's great about that result is, like, over the years, kids at school have always had to pick one of the top teams. They've had to pick Manchester United. They've had to pick Liverpool. And Palace was never really come into it. And now these kids will go, yeah, Palace, FA Cup winners. I'm going to support them. So I think it's changed everything for us. Changed everything for our club.
And I think you're right. And I'll make you right on another point of view on that. Okay, my wife works in schools in the London Borough of Croydon. And one of her little primary schools got all the kids to dress up in their red and blue ahead of the day and everything else. It ended up costing the school a fortune because somebody had posted on Twitter that they were going to do it. And when they did do it, the BBC picked up on it and sent down camera crews to the day. So the head teacher then had to go and spend loads of money getting red and blue balloon arches done and and food for the camera crews that came down, and they were with them all day. And all of those children are now future Crystal Palace supporters. And I think to myself, do you know what? That's just a tiny example how Jim's right in what he just said. The effect it's going to have on the next generation of Palace fans is enormous. He's enormous. Now, somebody else who I'm very proud of, and I'm going to come to you right now, lady. Okay, Teresa Baker. Now, For those of you who don't know, on this show I think it was last week, we actually said about what happened at Covent Garden on the day of the semi-final. I was a little bit embarrassed about how we as a fan base left the state of Covent Garden. It was a shithole, okay? And quite frankly, I was highly embarrassed. And I mentioned it on here and I said, what would be a good thing is if, as a fan base, we can look up, let's tidy it up after. If we're going to go there again for the final or Trafalgar Square or wherever we're going to go. And I just happened to mention it casually. Teresa Baker gets hold of it, okay? And then she actually, Teresa, over to you. Who did you message and did you ever get any response?
I actually emailed Westminster Council saying, was there going to be a collection point for bins? And we were bringing our own bin liners. Was there going to be a collection place where we could put the bin liners once they were full? And no, they never replied. But apparently they got hold of the club.
Okay.
And said they were putting extra bins around Covent Garden. I did take bin liners with me yesterday to hand them out. I had handed about 30 or 40 out. And people were just like, oh, thanks very much. Start putting their rubbish in. So, yeah, it was cool.
Well, I'm super proud of you. Greg, I have seen you, mate. I'm coming to you in a minute. Teresa, in case you don't know what I'm about to read out, I'm going to read you out an article from the Daily Mail. And it's thanks to what you did. Crystal Palace was seen helping clear up the rubbish in central London, is the headline. Palace fans were helping to clear up rubbish around central London following a chaotic scenes before the FA Cup final yesterday. Supporters helped clear up litter, debris, including beer bottles, drink cans, after a carnival atmosphere around Covent Garden. And it actually says in the article, and Trafalgar Square, but I didn't think we were at Trafalgar. This comes following calls from some Eagles fans, okay, to make sure no litter was left by making the trip to Wembley for the centre in the capital and to take their own bin liners. One fan wrote on Friday night, Crystal Palace have made an effort to pack bin liners full of beer cans and take them home with them or leave them in a small pile where they could be collected later on by the local council. There was
It wasn't just me, Nick.
It wasn't just
me. I spoke to some of the guys that were clearing up Covent Garden and they were members of the HF and they'd stay behind to do it as well with bin bags.
Now, Nigel, I think you got some pictures of that somewhere. Have you got pictures of that actually taking place? Because I think I sent you a couple. I mean, maybe you haven't loaded them or not. But I'm just going to say, on behalf of the Red and Blue family, Red and Blue Review family, I'm super proud of you all. Thank you for taking it on board. Yeah, it just added to yet another brilliant day yesterday. So well done, everybody. Right, Ian, I'm going to hand over to you because I need to get a drink. Would you start by going through the lineup and covering off just the highlights of the game, okay? And because the whole idea tonight is I want people's experiences of what they did. Greg Ellis, I don't know where you've gone, mate, but you're welcome to jump back on at any point.
Cheers, Nick. Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic day, wasn't it? We haven't got words sometimes to describe how good it was. I don't normally buy a Sunday paper now, but I did, and I used to back in the day. But I went out and got one today. £4.50 for a Sunday Times, guys. That's ridiculous. Anyway, the front page says Eze does it. There's a picture of Eze on kneeling down, pointing to the skies on the front page of the Sunday Times, guys. And the sports section, Palace's greatest day, and there's 4 pages inside of analysis, and it's great to read. And I'm sure some of you guys have done the same. I don't know. We talked about we got great to have Jim with us, and it was great to have John on last week. And some of the older players, Stevie Kemba was 4 rows behind us yesterday, so I saw Steve. He was a bit embarrassed when I pointed him out, Jim, to everyone. But I think he was quite pleased in some ways to be recognised. And the opposite end of that extreme, next to me was a young lad with his dad in the ground, and he had a light blue Palace top on and his initials on. So I sort of put 2 and 2 together, and he plays for the under-10s. And he was really getting into it. So I said to his dad, that'll be him out there in 10 years' time, won't it? And who knows? This could be the first of very many, couldn't it? Europe beckons. We've won 1 cup final. But why can't we go on and win more in the future? Let's have a look at the team then, Nigel, if we can get the team up. No surprises at all. I said on last week's podcast that if Adam Wharton is fit, he plays and Kamada partners him. In other words, the same side as the semi-final. And sure enough, that came to pass. Adam was training in the week and he started. Of course, he did go off injured at the end, and we might come to that a little bit later. So no surprises at all, guys. Paul Gear, no surprises for you, I guess.
Yeah, no, we said last week, didn't we? If the semi-final team is fit, the semi-final team will play because they did the business that day. And yeah, as you say, that was what we were expecting, and yeah, gave us some good hope to get into it.
Absolutely, and there it is. There's the guys. That's our first 11, guys. That's the first choice team. The White Sox. Maybe we should change to White Sox now. Wear them at Selhurst. I mean, clearly they brought us a bit of luck yesterday, and that was the kit, of course, that we were wearing when we won up at Man City, the Townsend goal a few years back. So we get into the game. Man City started the stronger, didn't they? They were certainly on the front foot. City. The first real chance came, ball over from the right hand side. Haaland, very typical Haaland-esque stretches, volleys, and you've seen him score those, haven't you? You've seen him get those kind of goals at the far post. Really good, sharp save by Dino down to his left-hand side, and he pops it around the post. There was another one. A corner came in from the right, and Gvardiol gets up, unmarked in the penalty area, heads. Again, Henderson saves, and it's 0-0 still. And yet we've not really got into their half. We haven't really started playing any football. And I don't know about any of you guys, but I didn't really enjoy the game in itself. I mean, Jim, I think you alluded to that, didn't you? I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoy other Palace games. Would you agree with me, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Glasner had a game plan. And, when we played at Man City and went 2-0 up and then could have been 3 up or even 4 up. And we didn't change. We kept pushing forward. And he says he wanted to get no pockets in the game. And if you watch people at Sarr, every time Munoz was up against Doku, Sarr was right by his side. So there was no way. So, yeah, I mean, he set the game up right. We knew that Man City were going to have tons of the ball. But what this team have got that no other Palace team have had is 3 unbelievable good forwards and a right wing back that just helps them all the time. And you always know if we get over the halfway line with pace, we're going to create problems. And
absolutely.
Exactly what happened.
Absolutely, is what happened. So, we're 15 minutes into the game and we play out from the back. And I don't know about you as well. I get quite nervous when we play out from the back. Lacroix, Gahey, back to Henderson, out to Lacroix, Richards, and it's backwards and forwards. You think, hang on, come on, guys. But that's what they've been asked to do. And they look for those passes. And Richards found Mateta in the middle of the park, didn't he? And he passes it back to Kamada, who then feeds him in again. He swivels and he finds Munoz in acres of space, lots of green grass in front of him down the right flank. And I think Glasner talks about it being in transition, whereby we've got the overload. We've got more players going forward than they've got defending because of the way we've broken so quickly. And Eza is on the end of it. And, how good is he at finishing at the moment? He really is good. I mean, he scored the opening goal at Fulham in the quarterfinal. He scored the opening goal in the semi-final. And he scored the only goal yesterday. Absolute revelation. And he gave the keeper no chance at all. Scenes, weren't there, Yasmin, in where we were? Yeah,
there really was. But like you, I just felt through the whole game, I don't know, this really weird feeling. I didn't enjoy it at all till obviously the end. And then also, well, you know what happened then. But yeah, it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Okay, let me ask an open question to the rest of you guys. It's like Celebrity Squares, I said it with you lot. Did anyone enjoy the actual game, watching the game? Did anyone enjoy the experience of watching the game? Greg, come on then.
Yeah, I did.
Welcome, Greg.
How's your mum, by the way? Is she all right?
Yeah, she's good. You'll never guess where she is today. She's up in Manchester visiting my brother. So I've told her, you've got to be wearing your shirt out there.
Absolutely. Well done, Greg's mum. I met her yesterday, by the way, if anyone's wondering. So Greg, tell us about why you enjoyed the game so much.
Do you know what? I did enjoy it because I was confident. I saw Tim, I saw yourself obviously before the game, and Tim, myself, and my mum, we were walking around the sort of Wembley way, and we all three of us were sort of quietly confident. And what we were saying was the last 2 times that we'd gotten to the final, the season that sort of preceded it, we were we were sort of relegation candidates. You know, we were a struggling side, maybe punching above our weight. But I think the takeaway on this occasion was that actually we're better than that now. We've progressed, and we're knocking on the door of top 10. And this side is probably the best side we've ever had, and has the potential. So I think that chat that we had, I think we talked ourselves into a really good corner, and I think that allowed me to enjoy the match. I didn't expect to score so early on, no, not at all. And naturally, when we went 2-0 up, I just, at that point, I thought, this is it. I need to go to every game that I'm thinking like this.
And then that was taken away. We'll come to that moment in a little while. But did anyone think we scored too early? Did you have that feeling, scored too early, Joe, when you were watching it on TV?
No, I mean, it was a surprise when we scored for me, because we were getting, when I say we were getting battered, I always thought that we were battered by possession, but, you know, they're going to, because of the players that they've got, they are going to create chances, but they've not hit the post, they've not hit the bar, you know, they've not. I mean, I thought that I had that down as a 4-3, 4-2 game. I think everyone thought there was loads of goals. There always loads of goals. They always score loads of goals. It's mad, but yeah, I mean, I just laid down on the sofa, like I say, I was Billy No Mates yesterday because my family were there, and tried to not let, you know, that last 20 minutes. I looked at my watch and my heart was between 98 and 105, and I was trying to remain as calm as I could, but obviously I was flapping inside. But I honestly, almost the penalty, I just thought to myself, I bet he saves it. I bet Dino saves it. But no one's talked about when he hits it. Dino was about 2 foot off his line.
We'll come to that.
Okay, sorry.
Ian, keep your powder dry. Very remiss of me, right at the beginning of the game, before you go any further, we haven't done the Tifo. We need to talk about the Tifo. Can we hold on? Can we just hold fire just for a minute?
Yeah, go on. Do what you want to do. Go on.
Nigel, I know you got some pictures. Okay, so for those that you're not aware, the gentleman in that picture is a bloke called Mark. Mark and I were best friends for 20 years. Okay, I then went to work for him from his company up in Liverpool. And Dominic and Nathan, his 2 sons, I watched grow up from little boys. So what the trouble was, from where if you look very carefully, look to the far left of the yellow, you'll see a tiny little yellow dot in the ground, in the crowd. That's me. So I had no idea that Tifo was A, being arranged, why would I? Okay, but B, what the subject was. Okay, it was literally when I was on the train on the way home last night, because there's no signal inside Wembley, and then my phone went into meltdown, and I'm standing in that picture there that you're looking at of the win at Old Trafford, okay, where the Ambro goal goes in. I am simply standing to the right-hand side of that picture. I'm standing with Mark when that goal went in. His wife, Lynn, you can see Lynn's hands in that picture. I'm standing next to Lynn. And it just evokes such memories and fair play to the HF, okay? Fair play. Because they must have contacted the family, because I know Lynn and the boys were there yesterday, okay? So they must have got approval from the family. HF, if any of you are watching this tonight, I salute you, okay? And I'm quick enough to criticise, okay? And I'm quick enough to criticise, but massively fair play to you. I don't know who's that in the picture.
We don't know. We've got another person on. We'll come to him in a minute. We don't know.
It's John.
Oh, Johnny boy. You sobered up yet?
For those listening back on the podcast, we are now welcome. We will welcome. I hope he's sober now, because I've had reports, pal. There you go. John, can you turn your camera sideways so it's landscape, mate, as opposed to portrait?
Oh, okay. Do you want it to go? Oh God,
Don't worry. Just interrupt the show. You know.
It's just coming.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's lovely. Turn it sideways. It doesn't work.
No, don't worry. Turn it back again.
No, turn it back.
So tell me about your day yesterday quickly, John, before we carry on with the game.
Oh my God, what, yesterday?
Yeah.
You know,
but briefly.
So I did 5 live at 8 o'clock. I did Talk Sport at 9 o'clock, and then I did Football Focus at 12:30 yesterday at Wembley, and then jumped on to Talk Sport, and then I did Man City TV for a bit, and then did the game with Stuart Pearce and Adrian Durham on Talk Sport, and it's still just sinking in. What an incredible day! It was the most, and to be honest, you know what? When I was with some friends, we drinking, and I ended up in a cab from East Croydon heading home, and I was, do you know what? And the whole thing just kind of hit me, and I was just so pleased for the fans. I was so delighted for all the fans that have supported the club and followed us, and the magnificent support we've had. And I was just in tears driving home, and as it just dawned on you what just happened, and the emotion that swept over me was quite incredible. And you know, as it had done, I was sitting there with Stuart Pearce at the end of the game and Adrian Durham, and I was sort of a bit numb, and watching the boys dancing around with that cup was just unbelievable, just so magical and fantastic. And yeah, it's so special. And as I say, it's all sinking in. Now we're talking about the Charity Shield and Europe next year, and picking the boys and going on. So I think we'll just keep celebrating for another couple of days, and then the reality will dawn, and we'll deal with whatever's going to happen next. But let's just enjoy, savour this moment. But to all the Crystal Palace fans out there, just absolutely delighted, and love you all, and you deserve this, and well done.
And John, you know, you raised another point, and we were just talking about the Tifo before you joined us, okay? And the reason I wanted to mention the Tifo was because I think that cup win was, think about over the course of our history, ladies and gentlemen, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fans that sadly we've lost. That's in their memory as well. Yesterday was in their memory as well. So that's for everybody we've loved and lost, okay? And everybody for the future, like the school kids that were there yesterday, enjoy it, embrace it, take it forward. Thank you, John, for reminding me. Ian, back to you, buddy.
Thanks, John. That's great. And we'll come to you throughout the show as well, because it was good to see you working so hard yesterday, my friend, representing Crystal Palace Football Club.
Yeah.
The media. Really good. So, yeah, the Tifo, let's just, and the banner underneath it said, Wembley will shake and it will be beautiful. And it did shake and it was beautiful. So that was a prophetic from the HF. So lovely to see that. And I think we did ourselves proud with the red and the blue flags as well at the end before the game. So we're going through the game, John, very briefly. We're 1-0 up. We talked about the goal, but it nearly was 2-0 about 6 or 7 minutes later, as we broke down the left-hand side this time, and it was Tariq Mitchell finds Eza. He plays a ball in that was sort of clear, but they've just cleared it back to him. And in the end, he finds Munoz on the right. Again, he's in space on the right-hand side, Danny Munoz, and he crosses into the box. And this time it's Sarr that's on the end of it. And the Man City keeper will take a saves, but it could so easily been 2-0 at that stage. And they're really the only two chances we had in the first half. And then came probably, arguably, the most controversial moment of the whole game. Well, there are two of them, actually, but this is one of them. City play a long ball forward, and Haaland's running onto it. And Dino thinks he's going to come, and he's out of his area, and he realises he's not going to make it. And he takes a step back, but he claws the ball away with his right arm. And there's still footage when you see the camera angle down the line, you see that his arm is out of the area. Now, Paul Gear, you know, actually, that's an interesting one. That one, that's before. That's just proved me. That's probably why VAR didn't give it. Goodness me, that's very good, very good. Well done. Is that you, Nigel? Is that all your own work?
No, I sent it to him earlier.
Oh, very good, very good. But listen, guys, what do we think about that? Do we think we got away with one there? Let me bring in Paul Gear. Did we get away with one?
Yeah, I think you got to take your red and blue glasses off for that one, and yeah, we were very fortunate there. They say it wasn't denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity because it was going away from goal. Well, it was Dean who pushed the ball going away from goal. So if it had been a red card, we couldn't have complained, sadly. But thank the Lord, thank God, the VAR was not very sensible and gave us the benefit of the doubt.
Jim, you were watching it on TV with your mates in the snooker room. What were they saying on the television about it as they were checking the VAR?
I thought he was off. When you see it along the line, I thought, that's it. And then I'm thinking, is he going to send the keeper off in an FA Cup final so sort of early in the game? And I know they said the ball was going away. Again, only went away because the goalkeeper punched it away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so, I love VAR. It's brilliant. It's the best thing that ever happened to us.
With his tongue firmly in his cheek. Yeah.
Aaron England as well, wasn't he?
I think he was. Yeah.
He has literally been
it wasn't Aaron England. He was the fourth official, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was Jared Gillett, the Australian.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not given nothing, and the game did stop for a little bit, and we did in the ground. We're not quite sure what's happening, but he plays on, and like Paul said, I think we did get away with one a little bit there. But when he was interviewed afterwards, Dino, he sort of said, "Well, I don't care," and of course, why would he? But there we go. So it's 1-0, and then the next big talking point, I suppose, is the penalty. Penalty for you, Tim? Have you seen it back?
No, it wasn't. Mitchell definitely got a toe. We all said we were right in line with it, and you could see the ball change direction. So Mitchell got a toe. Even when I watched the game back, they were even saying, "Look, there's a definite change in trajectory." Mitchell got the ball, not a big touch, but he touched the ball first, and they couldn't believe how VAR, seeing the same pictures, didn't turn around and say the defender made contact with the ball first. But there we go.
What were they saying on TalkSport, John? What was the Adrian Durham's take on it?
Do you know what? It's watched many times, and we sort of had some monitors in the studio, but couldn't see. It looked like Tyreek gets a very slight touch on it, to be honest, and I think they just judged it wasn't a big enough touch, and they couldn't conclusively say he touched the ball. Silva leans into him and tries to buy the pen, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It was a rash tackle that he shouldn't have made. He was going away from goal. He was looking for it. It was very clever play from Silva because, any kind of contact. And as soon as Mitchell went to the ground, he was going to go down anyway. Got a slight touch. But I think after the debacle of the handball, I think they had to try and even.
I don't believe that. I don't believe they try and even things out like that. But you could be right. But Jim, did he need to go to ground, Tyreek Mitchell? Did he need to make that challenge given where the ball was, do you think?
Well, probably now he's thinking he didn't need to make it. But, I mean, the player just got a slight touch as he was sliding in, which just took the ball a little bit away. And then he actually got a touch of the ball before he sort of brought the player down. But, I mean, when I saw it, I thought penalty. I think they're going to give that. And you saying that, do they sort of try and even it out? He might have been thinking, well, I'll let them away with something earlier on. I can't let them away with that.
Yeah, it's certainly in real time. It looked like a penalty, didn't it? And he gives it on the pitch, and therefore clear and obvious, no clear and obvious error. Therefore, it's given. Joe, you wanted to come in.
There was a couple of things. Firstly, just on the penalty, if you look, Mitchell does slide in, but Silva's legs are collapsing before he even gets anywhere near him. I mean, I just get so frustrated with that. It's tantamount to cheating, but like I say, he bought it. I saw the touch on it, the TV from what I saw, but and I thought that it ain't a penalty, but obviously it's City. And then secondary point, Quinton Sullivan on form again tonight, and he said red and blue review employing 4-4-2 tonight.
Very good. Yeah, someone's quick, isn't they? So it's a penalty. It's given. It's soft, but it's given nevertheless. The same end that we got one in the semi-final, and ours was missed. How do we feel? Obviously, when he's going up, and it was quite a big delay. Haaland picks the ball up. A bit of mind games. He gives it into Marmoush. Pep says afterwards that he didn't know he was going to take it. I find that hard to believe, but there you go. And Dino's celebrating internally because I think he said afterwards, if it had been Haaland, he wasn't sure which way it was going to go. But if it was Marmoush, he knew definitely which way it was going to go because his 5 previous penalties have all gone to the keeper's right, to the player's left. So, what do we think about the penalty, John? Did he strike it well enough?
Yeah, no, he got good contact on it, but again, you've got to go high or low side. A firm side foot into the side netting. You're not going to save it, but he gave him a chance. It was the right height, as you say, committed. He knew which way he was going to go, and it was a good height. It wasn't a bad penalty, but it wasn't convincing enough to beat him. So when it all marries up, it works perfectly. So
good save.
Yeah, we're praying for it for him to miss or save. So it happened.
Did he move before the ball was kicked? T, you were saying you want to come in?
It wasn't on the line, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't about Dino. It was about, if you watch the penalty again and you listen to the HF drummer, his drum beats get progressively quicker, and I think he puts Marmouche off. If you listen to it, it was pointed out by Tom Samuel to me today. I went back and listened to it. I went, actually he does.
They didn't pick up on that on TalkSport, did they? Never mind. Okay, fair enough. Good. Anyway, so penalty save. Yeah, not just one save, but he saves the second one, doesn't he? Saves the rebound as well as it comes back into him. And how good does it feel when we've saved a penalty, Greg? Does it feel like a goal to you?
Oh yeah, celebrated it like a goal. Fully expecting him to bury it. I think we all were. In all truthfulness, I just going back to the decision from where I was sat, it looked a stonewall, penalty. So I'd resigned myself to 1-1, and I just thought, well, look, we were leading for a bit. This is great, but here we go, 1-1. And then when he saved it, I didn't want to celebrate too much because I could see Haaland, and I just thought he's gonna get the rebound. And then when Henderson smothered the ball, I think that was when I fully let go, and I just thought, oh yes, just celebrated. I just thought, oh, this is amazing, because in your mind, what I'm starting to think at that point is it just not City's day? Are they, whatever happens, they're just not going to score? So I'd started sort of thinking that in my mind. It was like, we might have this. So it was a great feeling.
Absolutely. Paul, and then Yasmin, and then we'll say hello to you, Ferg. Paul.
Yeah, apparently, having watched it back a couple of times on various things, apparently that's Dean's 10th penalty save out of 26 he's faced. So he's got a pretty good record at keeping them out.
That's good. That's very good. I didn't know that. That's good knowledge, mate. And that is an amazing record. Yeah, very good. Good stuff. Yes. Yeah,
I was just going to say a bit similar to Greg, really, that when Dino didn't get sent off and then he saved the penalty, I started having this internal thing with myself where I'm thinking it's got to be our day because that hasn't happened. But then I started thinking, oh, if you're thinking that, we're going to lose. And it was like that was affecting me for the whole game, really. But I did think for us that was a turning point, really, where I just thought this is going to go our way.
Is that why you're blobbing so much at full time? No, okay. Right, okay. Very good. Fergus, how are you, mate?
I'm not so bad, mate. Thank you. Sorry, I'm late.
Thanks for joining us. As you can see, it's a celebrity panel tonight, and you're welcome. And we'll weave you into this conversation somewhere as we go through. So next thing that happens, Doku for once gets the better of Munoz on their left flank. Good player, that Doku. Really like him actually. He cuts in, great shot, and Dino another fine save. Really fine save. The ball falls loose, and KDB, uncharacteristically really for him, fires over, and we all have a massive cheer. So we go in 1-0 half time, and it does sort of feel that Man City have missed their chances. The handball, the penalty, and everything else, and we're in front at the break as we were in the semi-final, of course. The second half. Again, Man City start on the front foot, and this time it's a harder watch for us, isn't it? I don't know what you feel about this, Ferg, where you were sitting you were up in the gods, I think. It's up the other end, so you can't see it as well, can you?
No, it wasn't. It was horrendous. That whole second half was just, like so stressful. I've never felt anything like it in my life. I had the tightest chest. I couldn't breathe. It was just, and every time City got the ball, you were just thinking, please. I used to be religious. I must have blessed myself 100 times during that game, praying that Man City wouldn't score. It
Maybe
was,
that worked, mate. Who knows? Who knows?
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And then we do get the ball in the net, as I think who said that earlier? Was it Greg? We do get the ball in the net a second time. And I think we celebrated this one harder than we celebrated the first one, where we were anyway. And we went absolutely mental. And it was Munoz that had the shot in the first place. He's just too good, isn't he, Danny Munoz? And he has the shot, but because it happens so quick in real time, you don't really see it. And it comes off Sar's leg, and it changes the direction of the ball. And it wrong foots the keeper. And he gets a hand to it, but he spills it. And Munoz is the first to react, and he reacts so well. He's so quick, and he gets a toe on it, and it's 2-0, except it isn't because it's disallowed. Rightly disallowed, of course. No arguments with that then, John, on TalkSport. They got to it quite quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was jumping around. They said to me, stop celebrating so hard before Jim Proudfoot does actually go through it. But I mean, it's one of those things, the emotion. We thought, we've won. That second goal was absolutely crucial to get that and to get it pulled back. And then you actually realise what's happened. Because as it happened in real time, you didn't see the fact that Sar was offside. He toes it in. So, devastation. And it's back to, as he said, it was the most stressful half. Ian, I'm going to have to jump off.
Okay, John, listen, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Unexpected. I didn't expect to see you tonight, but thanks for joining us. We'll see you next season.
Tuesday.
See you next season, yes?
We're FA Cup finalists and we're FA Cup champions, so it's absolutely incredible. Still,
Johnny boy, thank you, mate. I'll be in touch in the new season. Okay, have a lovely summer, buddy.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Yes, John.
Hello, John. Sorry, mate. Thanks for joining us.
John, before you go, are you there Tuesday night?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Should be a good night, shouldn't it?
I did get to I did get to sort of see the FA Cup before, did a little piece to it, but I'm looking forward to getting close to it and touching it on Tuesday night. So it's going to to be fantastic.
It's because it's ours, mate.
We'd all like to go out, wouldn't we? Can you organise it for all of us to come and have a go at the camp, I mean, your old mates at the Red and Blue Review and all that, There we go. John, one thing we haven't seen of you, we've seen footage of Ian Wright going mental, when the goal went in. We've seen footage of Clinton Morrison on 5 Live. Haven't seen any footage of you on TalkSport. Is there any? You're going to post it somewhere? Or
I was locked in a studio up at the top there because it was a enclosed studio. So that's a shame, really. And again, they kept saying to me, if you can just sort of try and keep your emotions down and not be biased. So it was.
Well, you can if you speak to him again anytime soon. You can say to Adrian Durham, we think he was going for an Oscar with that speech, the 4-minute speech at the end. Unbelievable! So well done, Adrian Durham. Yeah.
Cheers, Johnny boy. Thank you, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Thanks, John. Take care, buddy.
John.
Cheers, John. Ian.
Okay.
Ian, what you don't know is we've got it. We've got the speech.
Yes. Okay. Brilliant.
We'll play it out in a minute.
Yeah, fine. And it's a great speech. If you haven't heard it, it's 4 minutes, but it's a fantastic speech. John was sitting next to him. You can see John sitting next to him as he's delivering it. So yeah, that was good, wasn't it, to see Salad joining us tonight. Where are we? Oh my gosh, I've lost my place in my notes. So it's not 2-0, it's 1-0. Sorry?
Munoz goal.
We've got into the second half.
Yeah, that's right. Don't worry, I'm there. I'll just buying some time. That's okay. Henderson saved from their sub, didn't he then? This guy, right, who came off the bench, number 50, he's not even on the programme. What was he called, Paul?
Echeverri or something.
Echeverri, yeah. I don't know where they got him from. I think he's Argentinian. I never heard of him. Literally never heard of him.
Yeah, and apparently he's the right-footed Messi, they reckon, in the South America. So they got him last year. They bought him last year and loaned him back there for a year, and he came back in January, but he had not come onto the pitch. So yesterday was his first appearance for him.
Unbelievable. And Kevin De Bruyne fed him through, and he was through on goal, really. But he did hit it right at Henderson. But nevertheless, it was still a very good save. And then we get to 90 minutes, and we can breathe. No, we can't breathe. Why? Because there were 10 minutes. And apparently Oliver Glasner said to the fourth official, I thought 8 might have been more appropriate. And he said to him, you're lucky it was only 10. Could have been longer. Because one of the reasons was Mark Gahey was down for a period of time and he went off injured. And I just want to say, really, I thought Jeff Lerma did a brilliant job coming in really good utility defensive player who can cover for us. Teresa.
Yeah, you said Mark Gay went off injured. I think we need to talk about his injury.
Yeah, we can do. Do you know more than I do?
Well, I know he's got a fractured orbital socket, so he's got one of the fractures of the bones that are around his eye.
Okay.
And I've seen a clip of him, and he's like going, I can't. One of the reasons he was taken to hospital is because he couldn't see out of that eye.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why he was taken to hospital. That's why he wasn't at the after party.
And so was Wharton, wasn't he?
Wharton's in hospital with concussion.
Teresa, if I can just indulge for a moment and call on your medical expertise. Tell us about what else can you tell us about that kind of injury? Then is it?
Well, it's caused by a blunt force. So it's either an elbow or a forearm that suddenly caught him in the right wherever it's caught him, and it will be probably either this bone here, which is usual, or the one above on his eyebrow. That's what's most usual of an orbital fracture.
So your best guess is we don't see him again this season.
I would be very surprised if he plays, or depending where the fracture's displaced. If the fracture's displaced, we won't see him. If it's just straightforward like a hairline crack, you might see him with a mask. Who was it wore a mask before?
Mateta,
of course. Mateta wears a mask at the moment.
No, I mean, who had the one that went round? I'm not even sure he played for us.
Gary Mabbott.
Yes.
With a ton of players,
yeah. So look, he looked all right to me, Gay, when he was lifting the FA Cup. And
he didn't. No, he didn't.
He was close.
He was saying he couldn't see out of his eye.
Oh, was he? Okay, but he was still lifting the FA Cup. So,
completely.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we wish you well, of course, and let's hope it's not too serious, and that he's going to get the best medical care. So
obviously, that was just a yellow card offence.
Yeah. So Gay goes off, and Lerman did a good job when he came on. Adam Wharton also ended up in hospital. Do we know what was wrong with him?
Concussion. He was caught in the head by, I think it was Kevin De Bruyne's boot, wasn't it?
Okay,
that was a shock, wasn't it?
And, is it true that he couldn't remember anything, Teresa?
He couldn't remember. I saw the hospital clip, and he was he's in a hospital gown, and he was texted from the hospital. He said, "Apparently, we won the FA Cup." I don't know whether it's a parody or whether he truly
that must have been parody. That must have been parody. Yeah.
We won't be seeing him on Tuesday if it is a proper concussion either.
No. Okay. All right, Teresa. Thanks for your input there. That's really helpful to know. But obviously, we wish both lads really well, and that that they recover quickly and fully. So 10 minutes of added time. We see the timeout. It was a long 10 minutes, wasn't it? Longest 10 minutes of your life, Yasmin?
Yes, definitely it was. And then before you say it was me crying first, it was Ian D that started crying several times during the game, and he set me off. So yeah,
that's not a sight you want to think about too much, is it? But there we are. There we go, guys. Yeah, so 78% possession I think City had, but it didn't matter, did it? And that was the game plan, to let them have the ball. They couldn't hurt us because we defended so well, and it worked. There you go. They're the stats. I don't think we need to dwell on those very much at all. All we do need to know is we won 1-0 and we won the FA Cup, and that's all that matters. So happy days. And we're going on a European tour, and it's all good.
Okay, quick show of thank you, Ian. Quick show of hands. Okay, honest answer. All of you, Holyoke, you included. Who shed a tear yesterday? just a strong Glaswegian that didn't then.
Oh, I didn't either. Yesterday, I had today, but not yesterday.
So the emotional. Go on, Jim. Go on, Joe.
So it probably took about a minute to sink in, and then I got really teary, and then it went on to the camera panned onto Brighty. Oh, and he was crying. It completely done me then. And then I was with my missus this morning having breakfast before we went out, and I thought about it again and got teary-eyed again, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
No, you're lying, Julio. You only got serious because I phoned you while you were having breakfast. That's what that was about.
Stop me biting my fingers.
So no emotions then, Jimbo?
Of course I had emotions. I got a bit choked up, but I didn't. There was no tears.
No tears.
I'm supposed to be a hard man. I can't.
Of course, yeah. Seriously, how lucky are we, John and Jim, on our show together? It's just
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm just so chuffed. Thank you, mate. I know I take the pee out of you every time you come on, but I love you having you here. Right, so where should we go now? So the winning qualifies Crystal Palace for the next season's Europa League, ladies and gentlemen. It's set to be their first ever appearance in a major European competition. Can you imagine Selhurst Park under lights on a European night? Do you know what? I've dreamt of us winning a trophy. I've dreamt of us actually achieving something I didn't think it would happen in my lifetime. But one thing I've never thought about is Selhurst under lights on a European night. What's it going to be like? There you go, on screen for the benefit of those listening to this. So the Community Shield is on August the 9th, okay? And sadly, I won't be in the country for that, okay? And then the draw for the Europa League takes place on the 29th of August. And on screen, and I know you can't see it if you're listening back on the podcast, are all the dates of the different fixtures coming up home and away. Is that right, Paul? Have I got it right? It's literally 4 home, 4 away. Is that how it works?
Yeah, there's 32 teams in the big table, and you play eight of those random. There's no sort of logic to them. You play random teams from different pots, and then at the end of it, you compile a big table. And yeah, if you're in the top 8, you go straight through. I think 9 to 16, you have a playoff, and then the bottom 8 go out.
Right. Blimey. Okay, and the nuts part about it is the winner of it, i.e. Tottenham and Man United this year, the winner of it next year goes into the following season's Champions League. It couldn't happen, could it? I mean, bear in mind, Oliver Glasner has won this. Yes, Oliver Glasner has won. I know you didn't get a chance to tell your John Salako story from yesterday. Do you want to share it with the group now? You're amongst friends now. John's gone.
No.
All I'll say is he didn't recognise me. I was very disappointed.
So, what would it mean to see Selhurst under lights in Europe? I suppose on a Thursday night, wouldn't it? It'd be a Thursday night.
I think, like you said, it wasn't even a dream before. I think just winning something has always been the dream for us, hasn't it? And now, I don't know. I don't think it's sunk in properly yet. I think when we start getting the dates and all of that, it will sink in. But if Tottenham and Man United can get into the final after the way they've played this season, who says we haven't got a chance of winning it?
Greg Ellis.
I think also, I think I sent it in our chat a few weeks, maybe a couple of months ago, when I said, how far off are Palace realistically from competing in Europe? I think this was off the back of beating Brighton. You know, they put a pretty good, fist of it when they were in the Europa League. I just thought we can't be that far away from being competitive. So I've never given it a thought, really. But, up until this point, up until we beat Brighton, I thought, actually, we're a good side. I'm quite quietly confident that we'll go okay.
I think the most important thing you could add to that, Greg, is think about the start we had at the beginning of the season. It was just a total car crash. We could have easily qualified for Europe had we got off to a decent start. Had we got the players back from the competitions earlier, had we got our signings sorted out quicker, had we had the whole group. And Glasner's been alluding to this all season. Okay, had we had that start, we could have very easily qualified for Europe now. We're not, as you quite already pointed out, we're not that far away from it.
From Fulham onwards, we've won the cup by beating teams that are above us in the league. So we're demonstrating that we're competitive, and we a bit like last season. If it was 10 or 15 games longer, we would have been skyrocketing up the league.
Jim, Ferg, I'm not ignoring you, mate. I am coming to you in a minute. Jim, from a defensive point of view, we've just won the FA Cup only by conceding 1 goal throughout the entire competition. That's staggering, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know the first few rounds weren't sort of like great teams, but you've still got to go out and beat them. and to play teams like Villa and Fulham, who are good sides, and beat them without conceding any goals. Yeah, we're great. But going back to Europe, the one thing that would worry me is our squad is nowhere good enough or deep enough.
Yeah.
And when you look at the two teams that are playing in the final of the Europa League, if the three teams at the bottom of the league that get relegated were a little bit better, these two could have been in the relegation zone. And they're in the final of Europe. So that worries me a little bit. That the two teams fighting in the Europa League or Conference League, is it a Conference League, whatever they're in?
Yeah.
Are probably, apart from the three at the bottom, are the worst teams in the league.
So, Jim, are you saying that are you saying, Jim, that you fear that our league form will drop off because of the demands of the European schedule?
Well, if we started next season the way we started this season, and then you've just showed a load of games there played in Europe, it's not a problem. I mean, we want to be in it, but I think we need to get more players in with a bit more experience. And hopefully, now that we are in Europe and we are FA Cup winners and Charity Shield winners, I think we could we could keep hold of players that maybe we think we weren't going to. I mean, let's say that Grealish, £100 million City spent on him, and they've ruined him. And they've ruined him because the player style of football that wouldn't suit somebody like Eze. Probably Wharton would be all right, but we're fine. We just need to add a few more players, and it was said earlier, wasn't it? Like, if we hadn't had a bad start to the season, we would already be in Europe.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. Ferg, I'm coming to you after I've spoken to Joe. Joe, have you got some comments from the chat?
Well, no, what I will say first of all is I did say a little while ago, I thought that, you said we conceded one goal during the competition. I thought we were the best team in the competition this year. We've proved it, but, by just about beating City, but we've absolutely beat everyone. I just want to go to just one comment, and there's a few of them have gone through, and we have already turned around and said, it's for the thousands of people that were never, that have gone, Palace fans that have gone. But Nathan Burr said, was there with my son and son-in-law yesterday. Never thought I'd see Palace lift the FA Cup. I can die a happy man now. My late father never saw us win anything, so feel privileged to have this group. That's amazing. But you go on social media, and I'm not playing this down at all, Nathan, because it's that, and that's why I picked your comment out. But there's a ton of people that have said that. For the people like our parents, that never got a chance to see us win bugger all, apart from the ZDS, which got a couple of mentions on the stream that I was watching yesterday. But yeah, it really does feel like that. And the last thing from me, going on about winning the FA Cup, having been to some bigger grounds and more famous teams, is that we get a copy of that FA Cup, I'm sure. We're going to have to build
a trophy cabinet.
Yes. We're going to have a trophy cabinet.
It's just a shame I don't know a decent builder, isn't it?
Maybe we could just make Spurs' one.
Here in Croydon this morning.
Right, listen, I've got to come. I want to speak to. I haven't even spoken to Ferg yet. Ferg, Noble's already nicked my next question to you. Okay, what impact do you think Thursday night football will have at Sellers Park? Positive or negative? Will it affect our league form? I know we don't know, but what do you think?
I think it's going to be difficult, but I'm hoping the club will invest in 2 or 3 players. I think yesterday was a pivotal moment for the club. If we'd have lost, I think we'd have lost 3 or 4 of our best players. We've won. I think those players have got no reason to leave. They're really happy. They love the environment. They've won an FA Cup medal. They're in Europe. I mean, why would they want to leave? If we can build on that, if we can keep Glasner with his experience in the Europa Cup, he's won it already. everything steers towards positivity. The league form, there's lots. I know we had a bad start, but there was reasons for that because of the Euros and everything else that went on, signing players late. But we've got Glasner now for the whole summer. We sign those players, we get them in early. Some of those results that we lost to teams like Brentford, they took 6 points off us. Everton took 6 points off us. Leicester drew at home. Those games, if we can turn those results around, we could be pushing for certainly top 10, and we could do well in Europe. I truly believe that.
Thank you, mate. I'm conscious of the time, and I'm quite happy to overrun tonight. I'm more concerned about your private time, all of you, including Jim's. Okay, go on, mate. Make your point, and I'm going to move on to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the concern would be is that if you play Thursday, Sunday, is that you haven't got and you're playing teams like Brentford and Everton who aren't playing in Europe. They're fully rested a week. You need to be on the top of your game the whole time. But I think Oliver Glasner's the kind of manager that gets the team up for that. We've seen that when we went into the semi-final. We played Arsenal on the Wednesday, full strength in the semi-final. We proved we can play big games in short periods of time. Injuries permitting. And the other thing is, I've read today online, is that Mark Gahey they're now talking about him running his contract down with us. They were talking about the big fee last summer, a lesser fee this summer because he's got 12 months to go. But if he does run his contract down to nothing, they're talking about Real Madrid, Barcelona, because that's the kind of deal they want, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Then they pay them super big bucks in wages if they don't have to pay a transfer fee. So it might be that Mark Gahey actually stays, but he's probably the favourite to leave of all of them. But you're right, Ferg. I think it means we keep players, and as Jim said, we can attract one or two more. If you look, and we have got some good youngsters coming through, haven't we? Some decent youngsters that we could. And one final point from me: if you haven't seen the Steve Parish interview that was put out last week on the academy, make sure you go and watch that, because it's really interesting conversations with people, including the lad Danny Imray from Bromley, who was Young Player of the Year there.
Thank you, boys. Right, Teresa, I saw you had your hand up a minute ago. Did you want to make a point?
No, I wanted to ask a question. I wonder if Panania, now that we've got an FA Cup, we're entitled now to have triangular corner flags, aren't we?
Are we?
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So less for Mateta to aim at.
Oh,
well,
God.
I was just thinking, is that only for the year that we've got the FA Cup, or now that we've won the FA Cup?
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that, ever. Paul, any idea?
That's a new one on me, I'll be honest.
Get onto it, research it, and can report back to the team. Right, another massive event that was announced this week, of course, and Jim, I've got to come to you on this in a minute, was the end of a wonderful era for our Joel Ward, as you can see. And we can't do this show without talking about the impact this individual has had on our club and all the players, including, think of the players that he's played with over the years. £400,000 from Portsmouth, the absolute model professional in our eyes. Jim, we haven't seen it from the dressing room eyes. Tell me what your thoughts on Joel Ward.
I mean, he's been brilliant, hasn't he? I mean, the amount of times where people have written him off over the years. Oh, he's too slow. He don't get forward. He don't do this. But he's Mr. Safe Guy, wasn't he? He never, ever let the club down. From the day one when he first come. And he's seen a lot of ups and downs since he's been here. He's played with a lot of different managers. And it's a shame that he's got a bit older. The game moves on and younger people come in. But he's been a fabulous servant. And you've just got to hold your hands up and say what a tremendous player to have played that long in this level of game today is quite spectacular.
Yeah, I couldn't say more. I mean, and lots of people clamoring on to what we were talking about a year ago. Guys, no testimonial for him sorted out. I mean, we've all been talking about it for, I can't remember when we first started talking about it. Joel, do you think we should have a testimonial, or there should be a testimonial for Joel?
Well, I did say this to you, and then someone said to me that I don't think it's an automatic. I think the player can ask the club for a testimonial. It's not an automatic granted thing because, you know, he's been there 11 years and you get it after 10. So, but like I said, I put that message in our chat like yesterday. You know, we didn't give him a testimonial. We gave him an FA Cup. I mean, and then for Mark Gay literally to let him. I mean, he had it was a token. You know, Wardy lifted that cup. I mean, he should lift up. But he didn't have to. Mark Gay's the captain. Mark Gay could have done that and said and he wouldn't have been able to say a thing. But what a thing to do. I can't think that there'd be many other players or many other teams that would literally let you know, I know we can say he's a club legend because I have always had his back. What you said, Jim, he's never let us down. Never let us down. And when people were saying he was too slow and he was this, that, and the other, and I've always been a massive advocate of Wardy. And even though he didn't get on the pitch, I just, you know, he's not played a lot over the last year. I just think he's been amazing for us. And you can't get a bigger thank you than that.
And Nigel makes a good point. And Nigel made 2 points, one privately you're not aware of, guys. Teresa Baker is correct on the triangular flag situation. I've just found out from Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. And Wardy shouldn't be picking up the FA Cup because he's the club captain. Mark Gee is the team captain. So I can say it probably was the right decision. And as you rightly said, it's the right thing to do. Now, listen, I'm conscious it's Sunday evening. Everybody's dropped on. Everybody's come on. Anybody that's popped on and gone off again, John, Tim and the guys, I've got cramp in my leg. I'm going to wrap it up there. Now, we're back. When are we back, Ian? Because I know you're hosting.
Yeah, I think we're going to do a show next Monday after the Liverpool game on the Sunday. So Monday, the 26th of May, Bank Holiday Monday, 8 p.m. We'll do our final show of the season. We haven't decided we might do another season roundup. We haven't talked about that, Nick, but this is just to look back on the Wolves game. Obviously, Tuesday night, they come thick and fast. And then Sunday is away at Liverpool, Anfield, for a dress rehearsal for the Charity Shield, which is lovely.
Absolutely. Ferg, I've seen you, mate. And while we're talking to Fergus and saying goodnight to everybody, I'd love to know your predictions for both the Wolves game and the Liverpool game, if you'd be so kind. Put it in the chat. I will get to them afterwards, after the show, I promise you. Send your predictions in now. Ferg, you wanted to make a point, mate?
Well, I was just going to say, is that not the day the parade might be?
Yep.
Yeah, but it ain't going to be in the evening, is it? So,
well, no, I know, but...
Has anybody... The parade is next Monday, Bank Holiday Monday. Fergus is quite correct, but he's going to be lunchtime. He's not going to be in the evening, so I'm sure you'll all be home in time, plenty of time for the Red and Blue review that evening. You're going to say, why are you shaking your head, Baker?
Might end up as a party in Box Park.
Exactly.
It might well do. Listen, I don't know where normally I can come up with some load of crap at the end of the show. Jim's there nodding his head.
Usual.
Yeah, he does. But we just won the FA Cup. I don't know what else to say. We are FA Cup champions 2025. But there it is. I told you, Sergeant. Listen, for you lot on screen, the others that joined us, Nigel in the background, everybody listening and watching to this podcast, thank you so much for joining us. I never thought I'd say it. We've won the FA Cup. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.